Yeah, our today's topic is how to get MFA right for NIS2. Yeah, myself, I'm David Johnson. I'm working at an IC Consult as a lead consultant and also doing projects for IC Consult, especially regarding this topic. And yeah, my second host today is Don from Secret Double Octopus, joining us from the US. And we're happy to have you in our webinar.
Fantastic, and I'm excited about this topic. This whole NIS2 it really has a lot of context and sprawling impact, and it really impacts so many industries. And it doesn't look like it at the very beginning, but when you look at all the subcategories, especially the manufacturing sectors, it's really sweeping in scope. And so perfect.
And given from the invites, we can say it's a hot topic because we had a lot of registrations today, so we're happy about that. Just a few words to IC Consult. So we're now international. We're also in the US. We're in India. We're in China. We're all over Europe, and one of the biggest employers for identity access management. We're solely focusing on identity access management topics, and we're doing nothing else. We're doing MFA, we're doing IAM, IGA, PAM, all of these security disciplines, and yeah, are leading in that field in Europe and also all over the world. And yeah, Don, maybe you.
Yeah. And my name is Don Shin, and I work here at Secret Double Octopus. And what we are a product line inside of IC Consult. We bring passwordless MFA technology to all of those identity access management systems that IC Consult delivers. And what makes us different is that today passwordless technology or passwordless MFA it's a dominant topic. Everybody has an opinion about it. And specifically what makes us different is that we provide a simpler approach for enterprise complexity. And really what that has to do with is that we meet our customers where they are. If they are in the basic MFA phase and maturity, we can intercept them there and then move towards a passwordless solution. We're an industry proven approach. We actually have a customer, our largest customer scales to 150,000 users in 70 different geographies. Really a very, very complex aerospace customer. And what really makes us different and why we can satisfy a broad swath of the enterprise complexity and enterprise use cases is that we work with modern applications like single sign-on, FIDO, X509 certificates, but we also provide passwordless MFA for those other applications, those password applications that are actually driving many enterprises, businesses, whether they're on-prem or a legacy application. And so during this presentation, we'll go through these problems and then try to get that linkage for you to see how can you too get to a really strong posture of a phishing resistance and passwordless MFA for your industrial critical infrastructure.
So I guess we can start with NIS. Yeah. So you want to go, Don, or should I?
No, please. So maybe we can talk about this, about objectives of NIS.
Yeah. So we're just gonna quickly go over it because I guess a lot of people already know a lot about the NIS directive. It's not directly new, yeah, but it was just enhanced, including a few new industries. And now we have some essential sectors which need to be protected, and we have to adhere to some minimum standards. Yeah, and especially ENISA is a very good read to have a look at those requirements. At least the European Union pushes for their member states. Yeah, and these would be These would be the sectors right now for NISA, including also the new ones. So manufacturing, that's one of the main topics for today. But as you can see, a lot of industries are now part of the NIS2, especially if you're a large company, you're also subject to audits, and at least in the German market and also over Europe. So the German industry, or let's say the German market, had some turmoil with a few companies not adhering to audits. And in the past, the feeling was more that things were the German government, or these governments, let things slide. So the magic Excel, and let's see, okay, we have it. But those times are for sure over, which I can say from a few of projects I have right now. At least on the German market, they really want to see that things are done properly now, and they really are taking their regulating part serious now. So it's far from many companies which got the stamp in the past are now failing their audit because yeah, the magic Excel or some other things are not enough anymore to yeah, secure things here. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that there's a 322 days, right? That's the window. It's crunching down. It's getting there really
That's
fast.
the window, and you can be sure that after this window is closed, the regulators will come and really have a look at what is being done right now, and they're not also lenient anymore. So a company had an audit in the middle of the year, and everything should be closed by the end of the year, and it was a large company. So yeah, turning around the ship, yeah, it's, if you have a small sailing boat, yeah, change can happen fast. But if you have like a large industry and trying to yeah, adhere to the NIS regulations, that takes time, and having 6 months to get it done, that's one of the impossible tasks sometimes. So you can imagine the turmoil that happened in that company to be compliant till the end of the year.
Wow. Yeah.
Fun times. So yeah, this is we're going to focus on the NIS Article 21 risk management measures, and especially as today we're going to focus on the multi-factor authentication. So I guess, Don, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting when we look at these 10 particular security controls that the NIS2 says you must. These are the central areas, and there's really nothing new here, right? If we look at any of the security frameworks of even like CIS 18 or PCI or PSD in Europe, or these are the core. And I guess part of this challenge is that it's so many of these industries in the past, especially when we talked about manufacturing or waste, they just didn't. It wasn't, cybersecurity wasn't such a major part of the program, and I think it's really interesting because as you mentioned, IC Consult is focused on the identity and access management portion of this because it's really the critical thing, right? It has the biggest impact that touches pretty much all businesses and multi-factor is spelled out as one of the main controls that must be implemented out of the 10 disciplines. But I think the thing is when we look at this and we try to figure out, okay, well, what do we do with that, right? And so then we need a little bit more help to figure out what is the intent here of that small statement. And so we go dig into ENISA, and back last year, ENISA published this report about the recommendations for boosting cyber resilience, and I guess that's really the main theme of what NIS2 is about, also is resilience, and in it they gave 14 security controls, and the first control that they said was MFA, and specifically, I think the most interesting portion of that statement was that they're pointing into the direction of phishing resistance, right? Which is the problem today, is that phishing has become such a prevalent problem, and that today the battle is even more difficult because the adversaries are using phishing as a service, so that they've accumulated this technology and have figured out how to scale it to become extremely effective. And from an attacker perspective, it doesn't take much, because it just takes a few euros in order to be able to get on these platforms and be able to use very sophisticated man-in-the-middle attacks, as well as the AI tools, in order to write compelling emails, and these reverse proxies have become so sophisticated and fast, and they just look like the correct site. But even when we read this statement here, it still becomes it's still a little confusing as far as, okay, phishing resistance. So I thought that what we would do is spend a little bit of time and dig deeper in, because as our audience, what they're trying to figure out is, okay, the guidance here and the requirement, what exactly do I have to do? What are the minimum and what is the best practices that we need to cross? So if we consider that, let's see, phishing resistance, and if we could just advance the slide here, is to sort of capture how big of a problem is this phishing, right? And back in 2022 in the US, we had this, the government and CISA put up a flag and they say, shields up, which is that Star Trek illusion kind of thing, is that shields up. And they said, in particular around phishing, because 90% of all successful data breaches, that's ransomware or theft or any incident, starts with a phish. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's such a prevalent problem that we end up with. And the question becomes, okay, how are we going to overcome this? And to get to the root of the problem and the solution is, we have to understand how bad of a problem is this. And then David, I think you wanted to talk about this portion of it, of this human weakness, right?
Yeah, and it's that's the problem in IT. Yeah, so we can do things pretty good. We can put a 0 and we can put a 1. Yeah, but with humans, things get more complicated. You realize it. So for this phishing resistant MFA, for example, if my OWA or rather my Outlook in the middle